So that terrible outdoor recording of me kind of gave you an understanding of how we set up our space. And let's talk about some of the tools that I used in that video because I'm kind of excited about it. So here we go. So I got a couple things here that I think are worth talking about. First and foremost, the red light. Let's talk about red for a minute. So I use this is called a striker. This light specifically, as you can see, really embodies the best of my 80s horror concept. This particular device I bought off of Amazon. It ran me about 260 bucks. It doubles as both a handheld flashlight. It is a lithium-ion battery that charges via USB. It also comes with a carry case and this little guy. So this is a very lightweight telescoping pole, which will telescope up to about a period of 8 feet. In addition to that, it is a tripod. It can either sit on flat ground or it has extendable spikes, which are used for soft ground. This thing is very lightweight. I had an opportunity to use it a number of times. I even carry this flashlight with me when I'm out on the boat. It doubles as both an ultra bright LED here in the front, white light, with an option for white light or red light here. It does come with a remote, which does travel pinned to the very bottom of this. It is a very cool tool. I've used it a number of times. Now let's talk about what's not so good about it. This thing is a little bit flimsy. If you don't continue to tighten it, it will have a tendency to bend and you can fall. I actually lost this thing in the water once. Turned out pretty good that even though completely submerged, this unit still fairly waterproof. So pretty good. Let's talk about battery life. This thing, it only lasts about 4 hours if you're lucky. If you're continuing to switch back and forth between its flashlight mode and its red light mode, you will consume it pretty quickly. The other thing is the battery doesn't hold charge for a long period of time. So you either have to disconnect the battery to keep it out, or your other option is you just have to keep it charged before you head out fishing. Like I said, it does last about 4 hours, but if you're going to be one of those guys that's out there all night, you will run out of this beforehand. The remote that comes with it is the other part that I don't particularly love. The remote, in theory, works great. The battery dies fast, and for whatever reason, it doesn't really control the modes as well as I would like. So generally speaking, I'm usually pressing the button. There are a couple of other options. Holman makes a great white light one, although personally I haven't used it, and I haven't found a really good red light telescoping scenario outside of the striker. So I'll put a link down below so you can take a look at it. Like I said, for short trips or where you have power between then and there, it's actually a great option and I mostly recommend it. I'll give it a 8 out of 10. So we finally reached the part of the video that I'm most excited to talk about, and that's the stuff that we built. My team has been doing bank fishing wrong for so long that we took it upon ourselves to just fix it. We created a punch list of problems that our solution needed to address. The first one was weight. When we go bank fishing, we have enough to carry already. We have rods, tackle, coolers, whatever we had needed to be stowable and didn't burden us. Second one is convenience. Look, buying into new gear is expensive. Whatever we had or whatever we put together needed to be accessible to the entire team. Resilience was very important. Mother Nature is a fickle mistress and we have no control over her. Additionally, when you have a fish on, all bets are off and nobody pays attention. So whatever gear we put out there needed to be able to roll with the punches and continue to function. Ease of use was critical. We needed to be able to deploy in the pitch black and we need to be able to pick up and move at a moment's notice. And last but not least, longevity. When my team gets together to go for an outing, we're there all night. Whatever solution we put together needed to last as long as we would. So after a couple of late night chats, a number of failed prototypes, and maybe an argument or two, but you didn't hear it from me, we came up with this guy. The Hellfire Flood. Unleash the Hellfire. This guy actually ticks all of the boxes off of our 5-point list. As far as weight is concerned, these things are barely heavier than a power tool. Most of the weight is actually in the battery itself. The rest of it, just a 3D printed body connected to a lightweight, compact flood. Convenience, show me a fisherman who doesn't use power tools. Find me one, I dare you. If you're anything like me, you already have at least one of these sitting in your trunk. We're gonna talk endurance. Most of the problem is already solved. These batteries are designed to be used in power tools. They're ruggedized. They're designed to be kicked around and punished. Operate at cool and hot temperatures, handle dusty, damp environments. These guys, there's really nothing to them. The flood itself is designed to be weather resistant. It's a PLA plastic body connected with stainless steel screws. This thing is designed to be outside in the elements, and it's been lovingly soldered by our very own Hellfire Forge Master, who is very particular about his soldering. He doesn't even let me touch the iron. Seriously, what could go wrong? Seriously. As far as ease of use, I trust my cat with this. Look, it's just the battery, clicks into place, single switch, on, off. If you buy the wireless ones, it comes with a remote. That makes it a little bit more complicated, but we all use TVs, right? And as far as longevity, this bad boy is perfect. Our own field test clocked this thing at anywhere between 11 and 12 hours. And if I need more time, I just put in a new battery. So listen, I could rant and rave about these things all I want. I'll give you a lovely little product overview in just a minute, but I do want to talk about something else. You guys have clearly seen this stuff online before. What we've done is nothing necessarily new, with one notable exception. We've backed this up with science.
You know, I'm something of a scientist myself.
So if you've been following along, we started this series of lights with the Ryobi battery. Now, this is a cheap Amazon knockoff, but no matter what, all Ryobi batteries, whether they be branded or aftermarket, contain one very specific and very important feature, an onboard BMS, or battery management system. It helps the battery remain charged. It protects it from over voltage, but it also protects it from over draining. If you're looking at any other solution that uses any of your tool batteries, you should always make sure that unless you are using a Ryobi series, which includes an onboard BMS, and I'm talking about your DeWalt's or your Milwaukee's, that even though they have some battery management, they're missing one very critical point, because the other vendors put their BMSs in the tools. So if you're using anything that's designed to work with your battery but isn't developed by the vendors, you better make sure they have a BMS, and there's a very specific reason for that. So when you connect your light and begin to draw power from this unit, the battery itself begins to discharge. That discharge might take 10 to 12 hours. Pretty awesome, I know. But when that discharge gets to a critical level, a BMS will be smart enough to say, hey, I'm out of charge. I'm gonna shut down now. The batteries that don't have that and are reliant upon the upstream equipment, i.e. your power tool, to say, hey, I'm out of juice, hey, stop me, those batteries will continue to discharge. And that kind of discharge without any management system will discharge the battery to a point where it damages it and it may not charge again. So when you're looking for something specifically for aftermarket tool, I'm not saying you have to buy our stuff, but what I am telling you is if you buy any aftermarket equipment, for your very expensive tool batteries, make sure the BMS is on board and save yourself a trip to the store to buy new batteries. This is my PSA. Thank you very much. So we have 4 different kinds of lighting choices, and I'd like to go through each one with you right now. The first one is a 10 watt, 12 volt UV flood. That's the one I've been showing for most of this video. The next light we have is actually 10 watt, 12 volt white light flood. So while it may look like all the light and none of the fun, we actually use these batteries when out in the field making our own videos. And it's always good to have a split between your UV and your white light, as is shown in the video earlier. For those of you that need even more light, we have a white light 30 watt flood. This thing throws 3 times the light on a single battery. Anytime you see me lit up like a Christmas tree, that's probably because I'm using our 30 watt. The last light we have available is the wireless flood. This is the same as the 3 other flavors of lighting I already showed you, but has a simple push button remote for ease of access. Let's talk battery series. Our very first was the Ryobi battery, but we have since expanded our capacity into Milwaukee and now even DeWalt. So any of the lights I just specified can be purchased with either of the battery modules in mind. So anyway, guys, that's been my fun little product demo. Anything you've seen here is available on our social media. It's also available directly from our website or the Etsy shop below. If you were able to sit through this entire video, I'm excited to give you an opportunity to get your own Hellfire flood so you too can unleash the Hellfire in the battery series of your choosing. All we ask you to do is go ahead, like and subscribe this video, and throw us a comment and say that you're interested in being entered into the running. My partner and I will be planning to do a live stream in the month of May where we're going to announce the lucky winner of the Hellfire flood of your choosing. Apologies to you folks who are hitting this way after this video is released. Obviously that's no longer available, but we will be doing giveaways in the future, so please stay tuned. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video as much as I did making it. I certainly really enjoyed diving into this topic and learning a little bit more about what kind of light that I'm supposed to be using and how it can make us more effective. So to beat the dead horse, please go ahead, throw us a like and subscribe, shout out to us on social media. I'll include all of the pertinent links below, so feel free to take a look at that. This has been Greg from the Hellfire Catfishing team. Good luck out there.